Peace, love, and light, family. It's your girl, Morgan Renee Myers, tuning in with another reading of Feeding the Soul because that's my business by the lovely Tabitha Brown. We are currently in part 4 of the book entitled Like So, Like That. And I'm going to get into it. I'm going to read 2 chapters today, 19 and 20, so we can get through this book. I am going to be looking back and forth. I'm on Instagram over here and I'm on Facebook on here, and I upload both of these to my YouTube channel. So if you catch the replay, appreciate you all. But let's get into it. Feeding the Soul by Tabitha Brown, Like So, Like That. Chapter 19, Freedom is Knowing You're Enough. It starts off with a quote by Janelle Monáe that reads, "Embrace what makes you unique, even if it makes others uncomfortable." Here's one of those hard pills, honey. Everybody ain't going to like you. I wish it wasn't true, but it is. We have to be okay with that, all right? How everybody feels doesn't matter, but you matter. What you feel matters. Now, if you follow me on social media, you know that Donna is everything. You hear me? Oh, Donna is my hair, in case you're wondering. She has her own personality. But here's the thing about Donna. She sheds naturally as she grows. She sheds naturally as she grows. That's a word for you, baby. Sometimes as we grow, we will inevitably shed some folk naturally from our lives. But losing them isn't going to stunt your growth. Nope, not one single bit. You're going to keep growing. When I comb Donna, her hair, I always find hair that has shed in the comb. It's like the hair has no more purpose for my head. It would be foolish for me to try to force each of those hairs back into my head, right? They would just keep falling out. Let me fix mine. Look, I'm so used to locks. I just washed my hair and my little fro, all different shapes and sizes till it dry and shrink back down. That shrinkage be real, baby. All right, I'm gonna get it right if I keep going. I need to name my fro. I'm about to lock her back up, but she kind of cute today, so I don't know. She got till December. See how much bigger she can get and what we can do with her. All right, back to the story. Back to Tabitha Brown's hair and her fro, Donna. So it would be foolish for me to try to force those hairs back onto my head, right? They would just keep falling out. The same thing applies to our lives. When people shed naturally from our lives, don't try to force them back in. They've been removed for your growth. That's a good word. Be all right with it and continue on your path. In fact, when certain people come into your life, God will show you when they should be there and when they should not. You know the saying, people are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Well, honey, some of us try our best to force folks to stay in winter when they should have been gone last spring. Why is she talking to me? I know, Tab. Should have been cut them off last spring. But your spirit knows when a person has outstayed their time in your life. Things starts to become uncomfortable and you just don't feel right. Then they start to show themselves. Honey, pay attention when somebody shows you who they are. As Maya Angelou said, believe them the first time. If you are having a second and third thoughts about someone, it's probably good to not have a fourth one. Let them be on their way. Chance, who is her husband, Chance shared with me something rapper and entrepreneur Nipsey Hussle once said, and it rings true. If your circle does not serve you or does not make you better, you ain't in a circle. You're in a cage. Yes, it can be very hurtful when you sow into someone's life, when you love people hard and try to do right by them and they take advantage of you. But use that pain to draw some lines and set some boundaries. Then trust that when God wants somebody out your life, he will kindly remove them and you won't have to do anything. There won't be no need for malice and no need to act ugly. Just let God do his work, okay? Most of the time, the releasing of people is necessary for your growth. But we resist the shedding and releasing because we are people pleasers. We don't want anyone to be mad at us. We may have moved on ourselves, but we still want everyone to like and love us. There have been many times in my life when I've had to decide to just be Tab. I needed to be authentically myself, and I did that. But there were other times when I lost my way and chose to make other folks feel comfortable instead. In my junior year of high school, I was very much a hippie. I was making my own clothes and thrift shopping all the time. I wore either corduroy or denim bell bottoms every day, honey, and still wear them to this day. I love me a good bell bottom. Yes, Tab. My mama would always call me her flower child. She said, girl, you were born in the wrong era. People at school would tease me to no end. You look stupid. Why are you wearing that? Oh, so you're trying to do you? You looking crazy. You name it, they said it. The meanest, most ignorant words were thrown my way. The black kids were telling me, oh, you dressing like hippie white people. But I just got it in my head that I didn't care. I liked it, so who cared what they thought? This is how I'm going to dress. This is how I'm going to be. Since then, I've always maintained my own style when it came to the way I dress. It was just something I embraced and enjoyed about myself early on. Even my love for earrings started when I was a very little girl. Pause, quick moment here. So this book I got, she had a book signing last September 2021. And she came to Greensboro, North Carolina as her first stop. And I went and I had some earrings with me, some crochet earrings. I crochet earrings, and I gave them to her sister, who was sitting by the stage, and she gave it to Tab, and Tab tagged me on her Instagram stories, and she said some kind thing. She was like, oh, Morgan, I love these earrings. Thank you so much. I can't wait to wear them. And then I also had some crochet hearts in the bag, and she said, but I love this the most. And she was like, you keep that up. Gave me some encouraging words, so that was nice. But I paid enough attention to know she's real into her earrings. So I'm excited. I'm glad that she got them and she received them, and I was able to hear the feedback from them. That was a great moment. All right, moving on. What she said? Even my love for earrings started when I was a very little girl. It was something I got from my mama. She wore earrings every day. That was just her thing, and I wanted to be exactly like her. I remember being 5 or 6. And I got my ears pierced for the first time at a store in our local mall called Saslow's Jewelry. I also remember the pain. The woman took out that small plastic and metal gun and shot that post right into my lobe. I was beyond devastated. But only for about 5 seconds. When they handed me the mirror and I saw myself with those tiny posts, honey, I loved it instantly. My only other thought was, oh God, these are small. I wanted the big ones like my mama had. That day began my now close to 40-year love affair with earrings. Honey, I feel naked if I don't have them on. The only time I won't wear them is when I'm working out in the gym. I wore those first little studs for a long time until one Christmas, my mama gave me one of those sets that had different color hoops and balls. From that point on, earrings were my thing too. Even though I was a tomboy, I still always have earrings on. I never go without them. And as I got older, the earrings got bigger and more fantastic. By the time I was a teenager, my earrings had to be big. I had one pair, some hoops that I found at the flea market that were big enough to fit around my neck. Honey, I used to love them. My daddy used to call them door knockers. Sometimes I would wear my mama's earrings to school. I'd dress up in little suits and stuff, trying to look just like her. When I look back on it now, I realize just how much of a blessing it was to aspire to the standard of beauty she set for me. Even now, when I wear any of the earrings in my 1,000-pair collection, I look in the mirror and think of my mom. Hold on one second, y'all. My Instagram phone is doing something weird. Because it's an Android, and yeah. Alright, let's go back. Alright, we back. So sometimes I used to wear my mama's earrings to school. I dress up in suits and stuff trying to look just like her. When I look back on it now, I realize just how much of a blessing it was to aspire to the standard of beauty she set for me. Even now, when I wear a pair of the earrings in my 1,000+ pair collection, I look in the mirror and think of my mom. I held on to this individuality well into adulthood. I was never interested in conforming to a mold that someone else created for me. But then, in pursuit of my acting dream, I began to contort myself into the image I thought Hollywood wanted from me. Remember the diet pills, the body image issues? Yes, I lost my way there for a few seasons. Fear tainted my thoughts, made me think I couldn't be successful being myself. When I got sick in 2016, everything shifted. After a year and a half of illness, of being afraid of dying, I thought, if I were to die this Tabitha, will people know the real me? What will I leave behind? This person that I've created to make other people feel comfortable? I did not want to do that. I promised myself that if God gave me another opportunity to grab hold of my dream, if he brought me through the pain, I was going to just be me. I was going to be exactly who he created me to be. I said, God, if you heal me, you can have me. I ain't going to try to do this life my way no more. I'm simply going to live my life the way you created me to live it. I am enough. I'm not going to lie to you. Even after I started eating vegan and my health shifted, I was scared. I was very afraid to start peeling off the layers and getting back to the core of who I was. But day by day, I stripped off all the stuff that wasn't me. And honey, no wonder I was so sick. Tab was being suffocated. The true me was being smothered by the false mask I was wearing. Layers of other people, other voices, and other personalities that I'd accumulated while seeking validation came off. All the ways I was trying to fit in and be accepted were released. No wonder I was exhausted. I was tiring being someone else. I'd had enough. And to those who didn't like the new old Tab, well, that wasn't my problem. It was never my job to make anybody else feel comfortable about my life. This is my life. Your life is yours. The moment I decided to be my free self, don't you know I gained more respect? That's what they don't tell you. People come up to me all the time and say, oh my God, I'm so inspired by your freedom. It's so amazing to see. How do you do that? Listen, everyone wants to be free. So when you walk in it, know that people will admire that. I saw people start to change all around me the moment I started walking in my truth. You don't do it for that reason, but it's good to be a blessing that way too. Honey, be your own person. No one can live for you. Choose freedom. Choose to be yourself no matter who likes it or who doesn't. You can still be loving to people. You can love people and still demand respect for yourself. Poet Nikki Giovanni said it best. Deal with yourself as an individual worthy of respect and make everyone else deal with you the same way. Good words from the good poet. Every day when I look in the mirror, I remind myself that I am enough. I say that to you right now. Despite what anybody may have to say about you, to you, or about you today, you are enough. Yesterday, you were enough. Today, you are enough. Tomorrow, you'll be enough. Forever, you're enough. Change the way you think, baby. Don't give control over your life, your self-perception, to people who have no business having that kind of power. When I first started doing videos, I received so many negative comments about the way I speak. It was mind-blowing the amount of time these people spent inboxing such evil and hurtful things. They said I spoke like a and I was ignorant. You name it. You name it, they said it. And there was a time when I might have hidden my accent because of those words. In fact, for many years, I did. Working in corporate America and auditioning in Hollywood, I constantly contort myself to fit the picture other people had painted of what it meant to be acceptable. For a while there, my insecurities had me believing that I needed to change in order to be accepted. But one day, I realized that I wasn't free. I chained myself to other people's expectations in order to make them comfortable. I thought, how dare I hide my mama and daddy, my granny and granddaddy, my cousins, uncles, and aunts who show up in this voice? How dare I hide those beloved people who speak like me? That's when I decided to not cover up my accent anymore, and I will never do it again. I'm from North Carolina and very proud of it. Yes. If a role requires it, I can certainly speak differently. In the same way, another actor might cover their British accent, but I'm not going to do that in my everyday life. I'm free. So you might not be from the South. Maybe you're from another country. Know this. Your accent is not a problem. I had to learn that, and I relearn it every day. Why give someone control over how I talk just so they can feel comfortable? Why give someone control over how I do my hair just so they can like me or want to hire me? However I show up has to be enough. However you show up has to be enough. And if we aren't liked, if we aren't hired, then guess what? We are not meant to be in that space. If you are supposed to be there, wherever there is, ain't nothing going to stop it. Not your voice, not your hair, not your way. Okay? The only thing that matters is that you feel good about yourself, that you feel genuinely comfortable in your skin, not based on what society or some industry says you should look or feel like either. That's what freedom feels like. I choose to live a life of freedom because I deserve it. We all do. No man, woman, business, or company can tell Tab how to live because Tab is free, and you can be free too. I promise you, the freedom to be you is the best gift you could ever give yourself. Is it hard work? Absolutely, because you have to also be mindful of your own changes and evolution. Who Tab was 20 years ago isn't the same as who I am now in my most authentic state. So you have to continue to learn more about who you are as you grow. We are changing and growing daily, but it's worth it. Live free and watch a whole world change around you. The way people look at you will change. The way they will even start treating you differently. Why? Because they actually see you. There's an old saying that goes, in a world where we could be anything, the best thing to be is yourself. It really does make a difference. Can I say it one more time? You are enough. TSA, Tab Service Announcement. We must stop telling our baby boys and young adult men, even our grown men, that they are not supposed to cry. I don't know who made up that rule, but it is a lie. Men need to release just like anybody else. It hurts me to hear things like, stop acting like a girl, or man up, directed at little boys. We must stop teaching that, because what ends up happening is these little boys start holding in all their emotion, frustration, and pain. Then they start to act out because they haven't been able to release any of it. Their sadness and anger just sit inside of them, and they don't know what to do with those feelings. And honey, guess what? Too often those little boys who are taught they shouldn't cry go on to be problematic men. Why is he always mad? Be careful. He's quiet, but he'll blow his top after a while. Of course he will. He was never given permission to release in healthy ways. I honestly think we'd have much less crime in the world if somebody taught men early on that it was okay to be human. That it's okay to cry if things don't feel good or if you're going through something. That it's okay to not be tough. I've even heard some people stop their kids from crying when they've lost someone. Suck it up. It's going to be all right. Really? Oh, no, that's not fair. We must stop doing that to our young men. Some of us are creating monsters inside these little boys. They grow up to be angry, dysfunctional men who don't know how to open up to women, don't know how to open up to men, and are afraid to be vulnerable. Let us stop destroying our little boys' emotional lives by preventing them from being able to express themselves. Tears aren't a sign of weakness. In fact, it takes courage to cry. It's the brave man who can shed tears. If you identify as a boy or man, honey, don't you dare buy those lies. You are human. If you feel a certain way, baby, you deserve to express it. God gave us these amazing human bodies that do all types of things naturally in response to an emotion. If you try to fight against what it naturally does, what do you think that resistance is doing to your insides mentally and emotionally? Baby, if you keep fighting those natural emotions, rest assured they will eventually fight against you. So take your moment, and don't feel no ways about it, okay? Don't you let nobody try to make you feel bad about showing your emotion. Don't you let nobody try to tell you to man up because you are shedding a tear for whatever situation may be, okay? I am a daughter of a great, amazing man, the wife of a great, amazing husband, the mother of a great, amazing son. As women, we see you. We are telling you it's okay. Let it out. I love that. I gotta go get my charger so this phone don't die. But I know a lot of men probably would disagree with her sentiment because they feel like as soon as they start releasing their emotion and sharing stuff with women, when they're in their darkest hour, if we get upset with them, we'll throw it back in their face. And that's unfortunate that a lot of men feel that way and that a lot of women actually do that. So they have reason to be guarded on top of being told not to cry as boys. But 1 second, let me get my charger. Okay, let's charge this bad boy up. Let's see. Alright, I have to reposition my phone a little bit. And there we go. Alright, let's continue on. So that was chapter 19. Freedom is knowing you're enough. So now we're on chapter 20. Take your time, do it right. Starts off with a quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson that says, adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience. I know you want it really bad. That dream is burning in your heart and you are ready to do all the things. The problem is you don't know what you're doing. You're off to the races but don't know anything about running. Slow down, baby. Oh, she's talking to me. Do the research. Ask the questions. It's okay to take your time. This journey, this life, is not a sprint. Success is not a sprint. It's a marathon. The culture tells you to rush, to hurry up and get it done, whatever it is. But Tab is telling you to take your time. Take a minute or more to figure out what you're doing. Get you a mentor, watch some videos, honey, read some books. Spend the time right now to get what you need in order to see everything you've longed for come to pass. Your dream is like your baby. When you first conceive, it's important to get through the first trimester. However, just like an actual baby, if you try to give birth in that first trimester, you will likely lose the dream. And yes, a baby can be born in the second trimester, but the complications are high and survival rates are low. The best outcome is for the baby and your dream to develop to full term before delivery. Give that dream time to develop. Know this, I'm not trying to discourage you. It's great that you are motivated, and sometimes spontaneity is necessary. Sometimes you will have to move quickly, but that generally doesn't happen in the very beginning. When you may not yet know what you're doing, there's a learning curve with everything. Be intentional, calculate your moves. You will likely make fewer mistakes if you slow down a little bit and do it right. And there are plenty of mistakes to be made just in the normal course of growing and learning. So why add on mistakes made simply because you rushed? You're still going to get it done, but you'll be happier with the outcome if you pace yourself. The great thing about destiny is that it's always going to come to pass. Whether you go slow or fast, it's yours. So make the journey work for you. I've already shared with you how people call me an overnight success and how wrong that is. They say, she just came out of nowhere and went viral, not knowing that I've spent the last 23 years investing in this career. My destiny was always mine. It was mine 23 years ago, and it's mine today. My dreams have been living inside me ever since I was a child. But you know what facilitated them coming true? Me being willing to take the time and endure the bumps in the road to get here. Me taking the time to learn my craft, to study those who were doing what I wanted to do. In the midst of the hardships and loss, I would watch actors I admire and try to figure out how they were able to master a character. When I was 6 years old, I'd watch Keisha Knight Pulliam playing Rudy on The Cosby Show and think, I can do that. I tap my mom and say, Mama, I want to be Rudy's friend. And she'd say, oh, you want to be Rudy's friend? No, not in real life, just on the TV. At 6, I didn't know what it meant to be an actor. I just knew there was something I wanted when I saw what was happening on that screen with a little girl who looked a lot like me. Oh, you want to become an actor, Mom said. That means being on TV. It's called an actress, she explained. That was it. That's what I needed to know. I'd found my life's calling. And you know the rest of the story by now. The ups and the downs, the disastrous trip to California, the second trip with hubby and baby girl in tow, the unpaid movie roles, the 9-to-5 jobs, the acting classes, the on-the-job lessons on interviewing celebrities and producing television. Remember my first gig with the Buster Brown show in North Carolina? Well, after that, I told myself, I know how to do this. And so I arrived in L.A. with that same attitude. I got this. The first celebrity interview I did in California was a red carpet interview, except there was no red carpet. I was actually behind the scenes at some nightclub. I met this guy named Zeke who asked me to be a host on his online channel. The platform was similar to MySpace, and my first interview was with the rapper Wale. He was very young at the time and had just hit the scene. No one knew him, but I was going to make the best of it. It was loud in the club, and it was difficult to get my questions out, much less hear his answers. Oh, it's a little bit different here in Hollywood. I'm going to have to adjust. And that's what I did. I learned from that situation and adjusted to the new environment. By the time I was representing a local LA magazine at a red carpet premiere for Keeping Up with Kardashians, a little background noise didn't bother me. You see that, baby? Audition after audition. No after no. A few yeses I will forever be grateful for. A few music videos and theater productions. A few terrible movies. I didn't rush this thing. Did I want to go faster? Did I want to land the role of a lifetime 10 years ago? Of course I did. We all do, right? But when or if that doesn't happen, we get back to work. We keep running our race. We keep growing and learning. Don't you ever sacrifice your soul. That's what rushing will do. That's what rushing will push you to do sometimes. It will have you taking opportunities that go against everything you stand for and believe in. Don't do that. Keep working. Turn those 10, 15, or yes, even 23 years into an overnight success story. When you choose to take your time time on your journey. You may find that the dream looks different than you imagined. It's still what you wanted, it's still success, but you couldn't have ever pictured the shape and form of it. My success in entertainment took a completely different route than I ever thought it would. There was no TikTok when I was running from audition to audition, but it didn't matter. My earlier experiences informed what I would later do online. The internet was an open door for the authentic tab to shine. It's why I tell everyone who has a dream to pursue anything in the entertainment industry that if they are not using the internet, they aren't trying. I'm a witness to the fact that if you know who you are and have a little bit of experience on a phone, there's a window of blessing and opportunity waiting for you. The internet is powerful. Yes, it is, Lord. It will make folks think you just came out of nowhere. It will make 23 years of hard work look like 2. I was on the internet looking at everything from acting techniques to YouTube workshops to build my digital media skills. Yes, there were times when I was frustrated. I'm human. But I was mostly patient because I knew there was no such thing as too much information. I chose to spend my time figuring something else out while I was waiting for whatever break was mine to come. You know the saying, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Now, let me stop you right there. Don't think for a second that it's just as simple as turning on your phone and doing something without an intention. The internet requires intention and consistency. Consistency is just like a habit, right? We all form good habits or bad habits, but most of the time when we form them, we do it without thinking. There isn't much intentionality there. You might hear people say, oh, she had a bad habit of doing that, or, oh, that's such a good habit to have. I remember growing up and hearing my daddy say, when you wake up, turn around and make that bed up before you do anything else. Then go wash your face and brush your teeth. He emphasized the importance of doing these things the same way every morning until it became a habit, a way of life. From that, I learned that the only way to make something a habit is to consistently do it every day. If you do that thing, whatever it is, every day, it becomes your way of life. It becomes a habit that's hard to break. So I brought the same approach to doing videos. Sure, God spoke to me and told me to do them. And no, I didn't want to. I don't know how many times I prayed, God, why do you have me doing this? It didn't make sense. But I made my promise to him, and I was backing out. And in order for me to form the habit, I had to be consistent, intentionally so. And honey, the beautiful thing is that consistency paid off. It turned so much into a habit that now I can't even go a day or two without thinking, oh Lord, I need to post a video. And by doing just that, so many of my dreams have come true. So yes, I felt the Spirit press me to do videos, but I also had to be intentional in my obedience to those nudges. And in the same way, I didn't always feel like making up my bed when I was little. Wanting to didn't matter. I woke up each day and did what I knew I had to do. I was consistent with content because that was my way of being obedient. I logged in and created content every single day for 2 years. No days off. I was driven by my passion, but also by my obedience to God, who said that I was doing this for a purpose. God was trying to show me something, and in order for me to see, I had to do my part. My part was being consistent. God said do videos about food. Well, I'm going to do videos about food. God said use my life to inspire people. I'm going to do some inspirational videos. It's the consistency that paid off, right? And then as things started to happen, I was ready for those things. I knew how to capitalize on the opportunities because I had those 20 plus years under my belt. But as powerful as the internet is, it can't work without you, the real you. You still have to figure out what platforms work best and what content aligns with your vision and personality. I've booked more projects and partnerships in the last 3 years than I ever did in those first 20. But those first 20 are the foundation for everything happening today. And none of it happened by copying someone else. I brought to the internet the only thing I had. Tabitha Bonita Brown. Okay, Bonita. Not Tabitha Bonita Brown. All right, girl. Life gives you specific opportunities to learn if you pay attention. Travel if you can afford to do so. If not, go to different places right there in your neighborhood. Do activities that will encourage your brain to expand. I promise you, honey, it will never go back to its original form. Put new things in your brain, and it's going to take a lot to go back to old ways of thinking and being. Those new things, that new knowledge will serve you well as you are waiting for your dream to come true. And this doesn't just apply to entertainment. If you want to start your own business, but you're sitting around doing nothing to expand your knowledge, then you're not setting yourself up for success. Become curious about the thing you want to do. See it everywhere. This could simply mean watching the way a restaurant restaurant manages its tables, or paying attention to the way a mechanic prioritizes cars while you're waiting for your oil change. That extra knowledge is going to not only serve your dream, but build your character too. In other words, it's going to make you a better, more open, and even a more empathic human. Well, I was going to school, Tab. That's how I'm going to get my knowledge. Great. That's one way to move towards your goals. Some people choose to be trained through higher education, and I think that's a wonderful thing. But understand that there are other options. You can take your education in your own hands. Ta-Nehisi Coates dropped out of college but spent hours in the library reading and studying his craft and has become one of the best and most celebrated writers of a generation. Steve Jobs, I gotta look him up because I don't know who that is. Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, didn't finish college either. School is wonderful. Get your high school diploma because you'll absolutely need that as a baseline for moving through life. Get that degree if you feel that's the best place for you to grow in your calling. But know that you can But know that you can own your education beyond school. In fact, whether you go to school or not, you should absolutely take ownership of your learning. And this will look different for each of us. For one person, that might be seeking out a mentor and or becoming an apprentice. For others, it might mean developing themselves personally and spiritually so that they will have the character and emotional capacity to sustain their success. Here's the thing about rushing the process. If I had decided that my success wasn't happening quick enough for me, then I would have to quit all the blessings of today and tomorrow and would have found someone willing to wait. Baby, I was all right with waiting. Why? Because I knew it was coming. My dreams never lied to me, and that's what I want you to know. That's what I want you to know. You won't mind working and waiting if you truly believe the dream is going to come true. You have to know that you know. You have to say to yourself, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I know it's coming, so I'm not going to rush it. It's so true that better things come to those who wait. We're ending it with her TSA, her tab service announcement. Honey, I need you to take a little soul medicine, all right? Very good. Listen, stop getting into relationships you're not ready for. Whether these relationships are financial, business, or romantic, too many of us jump into partnerships ill-equipped and end up losing more than the relationship. It's like a boxing match. Fighters train for months and years before they get into the ring. If they don't do that, it shows. Big time. Without training, they get beat up pretty bad. So let's stop jumping into these situations for which we haven't trained. Can we train ourselves to be a good partner in a relationship? A good business partner? Can we train ourselves to do better at managing our finances? Absolutely, honey. Absolutely. Honey, you can always be the best version of yourself if you put the time in. But if you are getting into these relationships with whoever comes your way and still not developing yourself, you are going to fail every time. Focusing on readying yourself, will also give you the discernment to recognize who might be the right partner in the first place. I don't want you to lose the fight, honey. So stay out the ring until you're ready to be there. All right, that is the end of that chapter. Chapter 20, take your time, do it right. That was to be having some good words now. You better preach, sis. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I'll be checking in with y'all again very soon. Peace.